Om Sarvopanishad Gavo Dogda Gopala Nandana Parthavatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gitamritam Maha. All the Upanishads are likened to a cow. The cowherd boy is Krishna. The calf is Arjuna. People of purified intellect are the drinkers of the milk. And the milk is the supreme nectar called the Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 6, verses 45 till the end of the chapter, 47. We've had a very long journey regarding this yoga of meditation. And as it's subtitled, Be thou thus a yogi. Be thou a yogi. Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. That's the Lord's declaration. The 45th verse is, the yogi applying himself diligently, becoming purified from all faults and attaining perfection through many births, thereby achieves the highest goal. We had seen the verses leading up to this, that the yogi who is born in propitious circumstances, in the homes of the pious, in the homes of the yogis, takes up the practice which was interrupted due to some reasons. And the main reason being death. We have also stated that yoga is imperishable. What you do will stay with you. Ordinarily, what we do stays with us as seeds of future actions. The seeds of yoga, which are there in the yogi, re-emerge or sprout once again in propitious circumstances. That old topic was yoga brashta, that one who was deflected from the path of yoga. And the Lord says that when the yogi is reborn in circumstances and environments which will give a fillip, as it were, to the practices of yoga, conditions become conducive to yoga, then the yogi, in spite of himself or herself, is pulled by that very movement of old impressions. That old practices will pull you. Riyate havashopisa. And that yogi easily transcends the ritualistic sections of yoga and comes to this stage where he or she, the yogi or the yogini, now presses forward even more to complete the task which had begun. So that's why he's saying, applying oneself diligently becoming purified from all faults, all stains rather, and attaining perfection through many births, the yogi thereby achieves the highest goal. What is the highest goal? The highest goal is to be merged in that supreme. It's called truth or reality or God, whatever designation you'd like to give. That is the highest goal. And Sri Ramakrishna has reiterated over and over again, the goal of human life is to see God. This is the supreme goal. We may have many goals. They should act as kind of ad hoc or complementary to the final summum bonum of life. That's the supreme goal. So this yogi is saying, prayatnad. Prayatnad in the sense of diligently, assiduously. Yatamanastu, applying himself or herself, diligently applying oneself. Yogi samshuddha kilvisha, the yogi, the yogini becomes purified from all faults, all sins, all errors, all mistakes. Kilvisha is what is used as a kind of a stain. You have something very pure and then it gets stained, as we all know. Things become dirty. And then the next line is saying, Aneka janma samsiddha. And after many births, aneka, many, not eka, not one, aneka, many. Janma samsiddha. After, you can say, he attains perfection, samsiddha, through many births. So, is yoga so difficult? No. It is one of the most easiest thing that a human mind can do. But then why does it take so long? Well, because we are distracted to multiple factors. If you keep your mind steady, if you keep your mind oriented towards the goal without distractions, you will notice that it is always seeking for truth. But that seeking for truth gets, as it were, upturned and dissipated when we run after hundreds of things which are clamoring for our attention. We are basically seekers of truth. And that's the reason why, as long as this feeling is there in every human heart, religion will continue to exist. And the very essence of all religions is yoga, where the whole responsibility is thrown on your own shoulders, no one to blame. No persons, no places, no things, nothing. And then the person keeps on growing and growing and growing into yoga. So at the end of the series of many births, the yogi attains perfection and attains the supreme goal. So this is what? Yatamana is one who is striving diligently, and then this person attains to the supreme goal. This is how we move. Now, when we talk about this movement of the yogi or the yogini towards a supreme goal, does that person not receive any help? Yes, and we have seen through hundreds of examples that help comes. You serve truth, truth will serve you. That's the reason why everywhere they said, speak the truth. Make your mind and your speech and your heart one. If there is a kind of a break between what you think and what you say, that is hypocrisy. That is a kind of, your personality is fragmented. So speaking the truth integrates one. And as one is integrated, one performs the yoga. Yoga is only meant for the extremely integrated personalities. The personalities that don't care too much for the externals anymore. Because the yogi has entered into vaster realms inside. And that yogi then proceeds, takes up hurdles, as it were, over each and every obstacle till he attains that samsuddha kilvisha, purification of the heart, and then the realization of the supreme truth which is inside us. That initial experience of this truth within us, that will lead us to the truth which is all-pervasive. The yogi is not anymore selfishly trying now to only liberate himself or herself. Yeah. The yogi at this stage is concerned about everyone's, you can say, progress towards yoga. So this is how the yoga brashta, that one who was deflected from yoga, returns to the path, strives even more, harder, and attains the goal. If you look at our lives, you see we do something and that is kind of becomes a part of us. Do a little more and it becomes part. Everything evolves. This whole scheme of life, the whole universe, is a question of evolution. We evolve. We cannot expect perfection to drop from the skies. No. You will need to slowly work at it. You want to be a musician, you want to be an athlete, you want to be anything. You've got to work for it, and that work means you need to sacrifice many things for this one. What you want to attain. And as we progress every day, we diligently sit down and meditate, what happens is that momentum itself is going to carry you forward. Then you're caught up in that, you can say, momentum. Here you want to now reach the goal. And all your practices and all your efforts are now helping you. It's pushing you on and on. You have created a kind of a feedback loop, and there you start. You put in a little effort, comes back to you. Put in a little more, it comes back to you, and you have created a loop. It gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And this is how you evolve from the germ state to the perfected yogi. many births. Actually, in one life itself, we live many lives. We have lived many lifetimes in our one lifetime. Every day itself is a newer and a vaster experience. It's making us either terrible, more terrible, and the worst thing that can happen, or it can make us better and better and better. So this is the responsibility that is thrown down to the yogi. You make now your own life. So there is prayatna dyatamanastu yogi samshuddha kilbishaha aneka janma samsiddhas tato yati param gatim. Thus, that yogi attains that supreme goal. The next 46th verse is, a yogi is higher than people of austerities. The yogi is considered higher even than people of knowledge. The yogi is also higher than people of action, karma. Therefore, O Arjuna, do you become a yogi. Tapasvibhyo diko yogi jnanibhyopi matodikaha karmibhyascha diko yogi tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. Therefore, become a yogi. Now it's obvious that he is not talking about bhakti yoga or jnana yoga, karma yoga. He is specifically talking about the practices of yoga, Raj Yoga. So he says, adhiko, excels, better. A yogi is higher than people who practice austerities. Austerity means, oh, I have 2 pieces of chocolates. I'll eat one today and I'll save one for tomorrow. That's being austere. People interpret it. Tapa is that which generates heat, spiritual heat, a spiritual fire that is required. And that is done, the best form of igniting that spiritual fire is japa, the repetition of a mantra. Physical austerities are there. There are plenty. In India, we have thousands. You can even stand on one foot, raise your hands like this and keep on standing till your legs swell. And then you come back again, do it tomorrow, and do it the 3rd day and 4th day and 5th day. And then once you've learned to balance yourself, keep on standing like that, sometimes for years. What's happening is, in the process, your mind is concentrating on the pain. There is a kind of a physical pain, but this is not really advised for most of the people, because later on the Bhagavad Gita itself is karshayanta sharirastam bhudagramam achetasa. These people, they torture the body, not knowing that I reside in the body. Know them to be of, you can say, asuric temperament. That is kind of people who are kind of cruel. So we do it the proper way. Okay? Whenever a thought comes to distract you from God, push it away and keep your mind on God. This is the best austerity. So austerities have 3 levels: physical, verbal, and mental. Physical in the sense, don't give your body pain. Since we will take this up later, just to kind of give you a brief idea, that physical is Deva Dvija Guru Pragna Pujanam Sauchamarjanam Brahmacharya Ahimsa cha Shariram Tapauchate. Saying Deva Dvija Guru Pragna Pujanam. Worship the gods, the Guru, the enlightened ones. This is part of purifying your body, the austerities for the body. Ahimsa. Faith. This is what is called a physical aspect. Anudvega karam vakyam. See that you don't hurt anybody through your speech. Speak the truth, satyam. Speak what is beneficial and good. Satyam priyad. Study. All these constitute austerities of the speech. Then we have something called the mental, that meditation, etc., constitute the austerities of the mind. Silence, all these things. So these are the threefold austerities that are practiced. So the yogi is even better than these people of austerities. Jnani bhyopi matodikaha. The yogi is even greater than the jnanis. Jnanis, what jnanis? So the commentator says, those who have an indirect knowledge of the truth through scriptures, through the guru, through various other you can say means, those are called jnanis. Not the ones who have realized the truth, the vijnanis. We are not talking about that. So there are those who will constantly practice, memorize you can say the Vedas and the Upanishads and all these things, perform rituals, etc. They are going towards the ultimate fruit of knowledge. The Bhagavad Gita in the 13th chapter will also speak about this, that the practice of knowledge is not simply reading books. It is an actual practice. How you attenuate your ego, how you become humble, how you can say comport yourself, how you behave. Everything goes into the practice of yoga. Amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, kshantirarjavam. Straightforwardness, you can say. This is very important. Let's not be a forked tongue. Think of one thing and do something else, or try to deceive people. And then, without the feeling of egotism. And all these are various practices, a long list. So the person keeps on practicing these disciplines. Amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, kshantir arjavam. Acharyopasanam shaucham, stairyam atma vinigraha. Steadiness. Worship the Guru. You can say the one who has faith. All these go into the practice of jnana. People say, what is the jnana? This tattvamasi, tattvamasi. It's like a parrot. No, that is not the practice of jnana. People have such wrong conceptions. What is jnana? What is knowledge? Repeat something? No, that's not. Repetition is not. It's an actual practice. You have to strive through certain means for jnana. Control of the senses, the desire for liberation, and all these things, renunciation, these are means. So the person who has taken up the means is also called a jnani. So the yogi is greater than even this jnani. Karmibhyascha adhiko yogi. The yogi is greater than the person who devotes himself or herself to just karma yoga, because there is a dynamism. It's a long drawn out process. It is a powerful process, karma. But it's a long drawn out process, and we don't know the consequences of what we have done now or done in the past. We do things immaturely, and the consequences come sometimes months and years, sometimes even lifetimes. So the yogi here is considered even greater than person of action, karma yogi. Tasmad yogi bhavar, thus or therefore, tasmad, you become a yogi, O Arjuna. This is the Lord is exhorting Arjuna to become a yogi because of its super abundant excellences and its easy path. Throw the whole responsibility on yourself, correct yourself, and now strive. Don't get distracted from this and that and this and that, and push and push and push, and slowly you attain that goal. And the goal, as we know, is more internal than external. We come to the last verse in this chapter. After doing all those levels of samadhi, now all these yogis that are diligently practicing and all these things, even amongst them, there are a select few that the Lord speaks about. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo mataha. There. And even amongst all the yogis, one who adores me, that's God, with mind fixed on me and with firm faith, that one is considered to be the best of the yogis. The Lord himself says, it's considered by me, that is God himself, who is a Yogeshwar, the Lord of Yoga, says that those who are devoted to me, I am devoted to God. No, there's that antaratma, with that inner mind of yours, the inner soul of yours, madgata, that is, has entered, like as it were, into God. That is called madgatena antaratma. When the person's whole being, the person's whole existence has become one with God's existence, with God. That yogi is the best of all the yogis. And what does that person do? See, what happens is, when you worship God, when you pray to God, you do everything, God is now a distinct entity apart from you. And that's God, and I go and give these flowers and this sandal paste, and I throw water out there, and I light incense sticks, agarbatti, and I wave lamps, and then I wave this and wave that, and hundreds of we have objectified that reality. And as we keep on worshipping this, praising that God, loving that God, offering everything that we do to that God, we are, as it were, taking one step towards God, and like Sri Ramakrishna says, God takes 10 steps towards us, that same God. And as that God approaches us, and we approach that God, there is an approach. And like Swami Vivekananda says, the idea of I and the idea of thou, which were distinct lines, now come and fuse. And the final words of the Upanishads, I said, that God, that truth, that reality is within us and outside us. So that objectification of that God was nothing but a form of worshipping that same God which is inside. Like you take a mirror, you want to see yourself, you take something. That's the way. When Swami Vivekananda was at South Pasadena, there was that young boy named Ralph who was there. So Swamiji is explaining to him, Ralph, can you see your own eyes? I don't know. Well, you need a mirror to see your own eyes. Similarly, God is the nearest to the near. But you need to see Him like you use a mirror, objectified. Later on, you won't need a mirror. You will see yourself within that higher self of God. So these are Yuktatama, the greatest of yogis. Yeah. So there, whose being has become one with God's. They worship God as non-different from themselves. That is, so it is that abheda. So they worship God as that. These are the highest of all yogis. And it's not God only in me. God is everywhere. They'll worship that God everywhere. And like I said, with faith. So even amongst all the yogis, one who adores me with mind fixed on me and with faith, Shraddhavan, such a yogi is considered by me to be the best. So now you get the idea. So there is a different class of the best of the best. You get the elite yogis. So here ends the 6th chapter, and also here ends everything that has been more or less a generalized theme of the word you, thou. The first chapters, 6 chapters, dwell on the theme you. The next 6 chapters will dwell on the theme that. The theme will be God. And then from the 13th till the 18th, the theme will be the connection between you and God. Tat and Tvam. Tvam and Tat. This is the connection. So this has been the general theme of the first chapters. This, of course, has been mentioned by the commentators, not by the Lord Himself. The Lord keeps on speaking about yoga in every chapter. So this ends the 6th chapter, the yoga of meditation, Atma Samyama. From the 7th chapter, the yoga of knowledge and realization, jnana and vijnana. This theme of union is taken up and explained elaborately by the Lord. So, to recap a bit, it started with the idea is that karma yoga, anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti, sa sannyasi cha yogi sa saniragnir. So the real sannyasin, the real yogin is one who will work and he or she will renounce the fruits of actions. That person is really a yogi and a real sannyasi, not the person who wears clothes and wears all these ashes and wears all these sacred marks and goes around and saying, I'm a sannyasin, I'm a monk and I'm a nun and I'm a, you can say, yogi. No, the karma yogi. And as he has shown that this is the first stage of purification. And as the yogi ascends to that stage where the yogi is not going to slide back, shama karanam uchyate, then that will be control will be. First will be that will push you up like the rocket in the first stage is pushing you up in a particular orbit, and then it falls down. The second stage of the rocket. So the second stage of the yogi's journey is control. First is karma, by offering all the fruits of actions to God. Second stage is control. And this leads us slowly and slowly to the highest, you can say, realms of where one sees oneself in all beings and all beings in oneself. That is the highest experience of the yogi. And the Lord has spoken about rules governing food and sleep and recreation and how to sit down, where to sit down, and what to sit down. All these things have been spoken of. And when the distractions come, what you need to do to draw in your mind, shanai, shanai, gradually, through your willpower, you pull your mind back. And then you attain all these states. And then Arjuna's doubt was, what happens when the thing is cut off in the middle? No, don't worry. Nothing is ever lost. Yoga is not lost. Nothing is ever. Nahi kalyana krit. Never is a doer of good ever coming to grief. So that yogi picks up where he or she had left off and continues the journey till the journey ends in God, truth. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. We have a small announcement also to make, the sense of the guided meditation practices Saturday morning will be taken up in June as mantra yoga. So this coming Saturday there won't be a meditation, guided meditation class. It will be in the month of June. Okay.
The question is, what is God?
What is God? God is the reality. God is the truth. Okay. We use the word God, but technically in Sanskrit literature and in the scriptures, it's called Ishvara, one who is the controller. Like you have a body, Okay, you have a body, and at the same time you feel you are separate from the body, distinct. That is called what is called a jiva, soul. So Ishvara is the sum total of all the bodies in the universe. The universe is Ishvara's body, and the soul of Ishvara is like that, a kind of a distinct. So Ishvara is the being that resides in all bodies. Like my soul resides in my body, Ishvara's soul resides in all bodies. But what about my soul? Well, on the final analysis, when water is poured into water, what remains is only water. So your soul, individual soul, which it was thinking all the while it was separate from the reality, from Ishvara, then merges into Ishvara. So this is called a Saguna Brahman, Brahman with name and forms. Everything that is, was, will be, is in God, is God. There is a higher state of reality called a Nirguna Brahman, or Nirakara Brahma, which is without any name and form. It's called a Sat Chit Ananda Brahman, where you transcend everything. You are like a tree in a forest, obviously. So when you see the forest instead of the tree, you have understood what is God. And then what about the space between the trees? Is the space only contained within the forest and within the trees? No, space is everywhere. So the space which is above the forest and exceeds the forest is that God, which is called Brahman, which is called Sat Chit Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. So this Ishvara, with devotion of the devotees, as it were, takes a form, the form that you have been worshipping, that God can take n number of forms. So God is personal, God is universal, God is impersonal. So that, in brief, my friend, is God.
Last question. What if I fail doing yoga many times? I feel many times that I'm not one with God when anger, lust, greed is so high.
Oh, what happens if you don't, if you feel anger and lust and greed, all these things coming up, you push them away. What do you want? Anyway, these things are burning you. Why you want to sit on a bed of hot coals? So you push them away and then get yourself joined once again to God, to the reality. That's all. So if you fail once, do it second time, third time, 1,000 times, 10,000 times, 1,000,000 times. Keep on doing it. And one day you'll see yourself joined there. Joined to that, your real self. And that will be the end of your long journey. So it doesn't come easy. Nothing comes easy. Nothing ever comes easy. You've got to struggle and fight your way through and work towards something. Even ordinary success in the world needs years. Sometimes it takes your health and everything away, your peace of mind and everything. So similarly, You fail once, you get up and strive again. You fail another time, get up and struggle. That is the way to yoga. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.